Okay. Yeah, we'll do this and then we'll go. Oh, you can do that? Okay. Okay. All right. Hello, everyone. Sorry I'm a couple of minutes late. How is everyone doing? Morning, morning, morning. Buongiorno. Bonjour. How's everyone? Thank you, James. Glad you enjoyed it, mate. FP3. Let's see what happens. Why is that coming up blue? That is a horrendous colour for the background, isn't it? Let's stop this, shall we? Drink hearty, drink hearty. Yeah, no rum and cokes just yet. I've got back, just got back from the gym, so I was a little bit late. Made myself a coffee. So yeah, I am ready for the long day ahead. FP3 ahead of us, and then of course qualifying this afternoon, the most important qualifying session of the year ahead of us. So always remember you, Pav. Always remember you. I remember names and I remember regulars. So hey Skeezy, good to see you. Mert looking very good with Lewis. I don't want to bring your hopes down, Supremacy, but I'm gonna. Looking at all the data from people who are in the know with data, not necessarily myself, Mercedes had their engine turned up quite high compared to the likes of McLaren and Red Bull. I still expect Mercedes probably to be the fourth fastest car, unfortunately. Lewis was still reporting some issues with the car in regards to steering. George Russell definitely was. So we'll see. But the fact that Lewis was quick over a single lap still kind of bodes well. But yeah, engine power was turned up quite high. But of course, the engine power being turned up quite high could still... I mean, the other drivers will gain, but not as dramatic as what they would at other circuits. So when does the session start? Session starts on the half hour, Alfeo. So 10 minutes, just under 10 minutes, buddy. Just went live a little bit earlier to have a catch up with you guys. Hey, Georgian, good to see you. Quali top 3 prediction. Yeah, so I said this yesterday, and I'm still going to stand by it. I think Charles Leclerc is definitely the man to beat at his home circuit. Of course, looking for that first podium position, but I don't think he's at the podium position, but definitely looking for that first win at his home circuit. He looks on it. Fastest man in all sectors yesterday afternoon in FP2. So Charles P1, and I think Piastri will be P2 and Norris will be P3. I think the McLarens are still got plenty of pace in hand. They were one of the teams that turned down their engine as also. So yeah, the Red Bull looks twitchy. Doesn't look good, especially for that middle sector. The rear's stepping out quite a lot. So unless Max really is able to discover something in the setup overnight, like they did at Imola, I do think they're going to struggle here. Max even reiterated that. He even said, I don't think our car is just suited to Monaco this year. He said there's only so much we can do with the setup, and I don't think we're going to be able to find anything in the setup that's going to be able to dial out these issues that we've got. But still he's quick, so I expect him to maybe might sneak into the top 3. But my prediction is, Leclerc and the 2 McLarens, P2 and 3. Piastri and Norris in that order, I think. So, big up, Stuffeyy. Good to see you, sir. Looking forward to quality. Merc still have speed and not tampered with setup. Yes, but as I said, drivers still got to turn up engines. So, time has come for a Lance Stroll. Oh, you do. That was a good joke. It's a good joke, Mark. Let's go, Hamilton. Don't be 16th. No, I don't think so. I think he's on for a good weekend. He seems to be. Hamilton very much wears his heart on his sleeve. I think we know that with him, and he looks very happy this weekend, saying how much he loves the track and so forth. And of course, Monaco is a track where experience does shine through. And I'm hoping as a Hamilton fan But because Monaco is unique in that there is so much emphasis on qualifying, he is just focusing on that single lap pace where he's like been lackluster in qualifying, and because he's been just trying to chase performance with the setups, but the Mercedes just doesn't have. I think he's just focusing on single lap pace and driving fast in the day. It sounds stupid. It sounds very simple, but I don't think it's the be all and end all in the fact of if they lose a couple of positions when it comes to maybe strategy on the Sunday. Track position's key. We know that. Even if they're slightly slower in the race than the other cars around them, they can just... Hamilton, if he sticks it on P2 and stays there or whatever, or even pulls out a magician-like pole position, he can control the race as he likes. Obviously, others will try and do the undercut, but yeah, we'll see. That's my hope. That's my hope, is that he's just like, no, I'm fully focused on qualifying, which I don't think he's been like for quite some time. Hey, Sully, good to see you, mate. Welcome back. It's a new stanza to be Walrus and Carpenter. Max always comes out of nowhere with a win. Well, not necessarily always. He did it at Imola. Very fortunate at Imola, of course, with that toe that he got from Hulkenberg, but it was a great drive. He dug deep. Monaco's very different to Imola. It's very different to any other circuit. So if Max is down in 5th place, I mean, the top 6 cars. So Red Bull, Mercedes, not Mercedes, Red Bull, McLaren, and Ferrari. I mean, that order, especially at this circuit, could be anything. It could be so mixed up. So he could quite easily end up 5th place. I think Perez is struggling as well with the same issues that Max has been reporting. So yeah, we'll see in FP3. This will give us a good indication of whether Red Bull has sorted out their issues. And I think drivers will start to turn up their engines in preparation for quali. As this is the last session before qualifying this afternoon, we should see hopefully some proper quali runs. What lineup is this? I'm praying on the Dutch anthem now. Dutch anthem's actually a good anthem. It's just that we've heard it a lot the last 3 years. It's the same with God Save the Queen. It was God Save the Queen, obviously now God Save the King. They probably got fed up of our national anthem as well with Lewis. And it was also the German national anthem for a long period of time with Michael Schumacher as well and Sebastian Vettel. So yeah, we all kind of go for it. But today, guys, as you'll be glad to know, especially, I can't remember which individual it was who was in the stream yesterday, who suggested that I put their best lap in here. So we've got it doesn't look it, but we've got a slightly different layout here, guys, for practice and quali, that you can see up there. And what this has is that it only has the gap, of course, from the usual stuff, the gap, the interval. So gap is to the leader, interval is to the car ahead of you, DRS, sector times, and the last lap. So the sector times is within that lap they're conducting. And then we have their best lap, because that's really where it's relevant in practice and quali, to know exactly the fastest lap that they've set. And then, of course, the race layout is as it was before. So just a bit more tailored to these practice sessions and qualifying. Can't wait to hear the Canadian anthem. Might be waiting a while for that. Question, is there actually any up-and-coming Canadian drivers? I'm not familiar with any Canadian drivers in the junior formulas. Maybe there is. But why Sergeant P2? I have no idea what this order is. Yeah, don't ignore it. They've not done a lap yet. Practice hasn't started yet. Practice is about to start in just over 2 minutes' time. So, hey Fimba, you happy to be here? Lovely. I'm glad everyone's happy to be here. And if you hate watching, thank you for the viewership. Right, let's bring up sector leaderboards over here so that I can keep an eye on that. And race control as well. Adrian Clark with the 31 months. 31 months. Oh. Wow. Thank you, Adrian. Not often you catch me live, of course, with you being down under. Thank you, buddy. Thank you. Yeah, welcome to the 31 months. I've had to prep a 3-year. I can't remember which one it is. I'm pretty sure there's a new colour for the next range. You're fast approaching the next membership bracket. Can't remember which one it is. Haven't kicked you out? No. Man, I lean on you a lot. You are a wealth of knowledge and a staple in the Stuffeyy community. So, yeah, thank you, buddy. Thank you for resubbing. And anyone else who would like to sub and join part of this great community we've got here, you can hit that membership button for just a couple of pounds, for less than a coffee. Get a nice emoji badge and get to join the pit crew. See, I do my sim racing here as well. And if you don't want to do that, because you don't have to, just hit the subscribe button. That's thankful enough for me. And a like shows your appreciation also. Thank you, guys. No Verstappen win? I don't think so here this weekend. Hey, Kim. I'm very well, thank you. Can't wait for qualifying. Yeah, not long. Practice first, though. Another hour to see if Red Bull have dialed out those issues. Is Leclerc still going to be the fastest driver? Has Hamilton... Are we seeing a fluke from Mercedes, or is it genuinely pace from Mercedes? We will see. We will see. Norris Quicko. Order is based on driver numbers. That would explain it, yeah, if it's the case. What do I think about Adrian Newey leaving Red Bull? Yeah, well, the whole reason Adrian Newey is leaving Red Bull is because of the shenanigans that have been happening, of course, with Christian Horner and that behind the scenes. There's a clear power struggle that is still ongoing at Red Bull. It is not over and done with by any means, as practice is underway, guys. Green light, green light, as we'll now see the driver markers pop up on the track map as George Russell makes his way to the end of the pit lane. But yeah, Adrian Newey's leaving of Red Bull is because of those issues behind the scenes with Christian Horner, the power struggle that is going on at the moment with the tyre side of the company, the investment side, who own 51% of Red Bull, then the Mateschitz family, I think that's how you pronounce their last name, who are the founders of Red Bull but aren't in control of fully in control of the company. So yeah, it's not over by any means. Just because it's been out in the media and we haven't heard it doesn't mean that it's still not ongoing. But yeah, it's definitely a blow. But they've got good, knowledgeable people at Red Bull. It's not just solely down to him, but we'll see how much of an impact it has, probably within the 2026 regs, because I imagine he is a leader in that team and points people in the right direction. You know, maybe doesn't have input on the actual day-to-day running and design, but he consults on it and points like a good leader does, directs people in a certain way. Why is Christian so bad? You'd have to ask him that, Emily. Naughty boy. What's the rules about tyres? In practice, they can use what they like, but they have to be careful because if they only have a certain amount of tyre allocation and tyres throughout the weekend. So that's why we'll probably see a lot of drivers use the hard compound now, because it's a tyre that generally isn't used at Monaco because there's not a lot of load put on the tyres, so not a lot of deg. So they'll probably be saving those soft and medium compound tyres in this last run. Does look nice and sunny out there at Monaco today. So I think that rain that was initially predicted for Saturday today is not going to be showing its face unless there's a real storm that comes over the hills at Monaco, which does happen this afternoon. That'll make qualifying interesting. I hope it isn't. I hope it is a dry qualifying because we want to see these guys on the edge. They're racing so close at the moment in the dry, with the performance of McLaren closing up on Red Bull, Charles Leclerc really going well here thus far. I want to see a dry qualifying. Makes things interesting. Charles, get out the pit. The great thing about Monaco is that and George Russell reporting, feels very different, the steering compared to yesterday. So we don't know if that's positive or negative. That's probably a positive thing. Probably a positive. Apart from the text messages, what else? Well, we don't know. We don't know, do we? It's also compulsory to hand a certain number of sets back after FP1, FP2, 2 sets. Is it? Oh, what, for sustainability reasons? Yeah, kind of makes sense. Kind of makes sense. But the great thing about Monaco is that there's always jeopardy. Every practice session, there's jeopardy. We haven't yet seen a crash, of course, but the drivers locking up yesterday, going down the escape road at Saint-Devant in turn 1. Lots of them brushing the barrier, reporting of contact. So, yeah, we'll see if FP3, like we saw in Imola, if anyone loses control of the car. Hopefully not, but I do think we might see someone potentially bring out the red flag in qualifying. Yeah, they're just... The McLaren like to scrub off their tyres, similar to the Aston Martins. I've noticed this the last couple of times. That's exactly what they've just done with the mediums as well. They scrub off the shine off of the off a set of tyres, and I think the purpose of that, I need to Google it actually, but I think the purpose of it is to just ensure that the tyre warm-up can be quicker come race day, because if a car is when they're brand new, of course they're hot, but they've got that initial shine on, and it's not always the best thing for them, especially at a circuit like Monaco as well, where tyre warm-up is going to be key, and it probably takes a good few laps to warm them up. Scrubbing them off isn't a bad thing. Not standard, but the teams use them and don't choose to sit in the garage. Fair. I have to say, you hope Perez will do well. Yeah, we'll see. We'll see. So, Red Bulls, so a lot of drivers have done the same thing there, just scrubbed off a set. You can see the Aston Martin's back out there. George Russell's just scrubbed off a set of softs, maybe just to... So Russell reporting steering, no vibrations, which is feeling good. Steering feels very light turning left, heavier turning right. So much better than yesterday, where he was really struggling with the turning of the car. Not because of setup, but just because of issues with the steering. Yeah, everyone being very cautious here. Everyone being very cautious in this first 5 minutes, guys. My opinions on Yuki Tsunoda. I think he has improved massively. I've been quite a big critic of Yuki. I think he's been very fortunate to still keep his F1 seat. While he has shown flashes of performance and pace, he spun a lot, made a lot of mistakes, crashed a lot. But Red Bull stuck by him, and he's now showing what everyone, fans of Yuki, have always said that he could do. Maybe got promoted to F1 just a touch too early, and could have done with a little bit more time in the F2 series or Super Formula or something. But yeah, I'm a fan. I am a fan, but I've just always been a bit of a big critic. But it just shows that development is a thing in F1. If drivers are given time, then they will, the good ones will iron out the kinks and the issues, and they will improve. So just because someone isn't necessarily great in their first season doesn't mean that they aren't going to improve in their second. However, someone like Sargent, I'm sorry, Logie Bear fans, someone like Sargent didn't really show anything that I think in that first season warranted him keeping his seat for this year. At least with Yuki, you saw flashes of performance, but yeah, like a rough diamond, he could be polished, but yeah, Sargent, unfortunately, I think keeping him on was a big mistake this year. So. The Ferraris will come out soon. They'll come out soon. As Hamilton is out of the pit lane, Lewis fans, let's see what Lewis has, if he's going to actually go out there and do some running. It's interesting. Charles Leclerc is just sitting in his car. He'll be going out soon, I imagine. But drivers just being patient here. I suppose maybe they've already got the data they required. Maybe they've got what they needed yesterday. They're just waiting a bit longer to go out there and do some quali runs. Charles is having a nap, yeah. Thoughts on Charles this race? I think it's his to lose, to be honest with you. Looking at the pace that he had yesterday. We will see. We will see come qualifying this afternoon. But yeah, I think he looks on it. Ferrari looks good. He looks good. And I think it's down to Charles to do well this afternoon. Who's a Lewis fan? Me. Lewis is coming out. Pray that the mechanics didn't change anything in Lewis's setup. Fingers crossed, guys. Fingers crossed they haven't tampered with it overnight. Yuki will get his first podium in 24. I think it's a tall order for that. He needs a lot of luck. I don't think that RB car has got pace to sneak a podium somewhere. I think the top 6 cars, obviously the top kind of 3 teams, are so far ahead now of the likes of Red Bull and kind of like even Aston Martin when you think about it. Mercedes is starting, well, at least this week they look like they're going better, as Lewis does us 19.4 in the first sector. But that's some way off the low 18 seconds that we saw yesterday with Charles Leclerc. So just dialing the car in on this first lap in this practice session for him. You don't like his whinging? Yeah, that's fair. They're all whingers though, aren't they, to be honest, Emily? They're all whingers. Anyone who says an F1 driver isn't a whinger are lying to themselves. Oh, why have I still got the Imola message? That's an old message. That is an old message. It's definitely not a 28-second pit stop loss at Monaco. That is for sure. We'll disable that one. Just noticed that. But thank you for everyone for joining this FP3 session today at Monaco. We are 10 minutes into this session, and Hamilton sets the fastest lap of FP3 thus far. Only 9 drivers have actually gone out on track and done a lap. The 2 Aston Martins and the 2 McLarens actually haven't done a full timed lap yet. They just went out there and scrubbed off those brand new tyres. As well as Aston Martin as well. We have the Stake F1 cars who are bottom of the timing sheets in both practice sessions yesterday, need to get some lap time in. We're still yet to see the Red Bulls, the Ferraris, of course. So we'll see how they get on. But definitely looks like Russell is reporting his car is much more comfortable than yesterday with some steering issues. But if you can hit that like button, guys, with over 600 of you in the stream right now, get this practice stream to over 100 likes. It really helps with the engagement. It'd be much appreciated. And if you haven't already, subscribe. We'll be back here for qualifying this afternoon, the most important qualifying of the year. So, and I believe we're live streaming on Twitch. So if anyone is on Twitch, I can't quite see the difference of where I am in regards to how many people are viewing on Twitch. Hello, Twitch viewers. Hit that follow button. Lewis on a roll on his press steps. There's plenty of diversity in F1 in regards to nationality. We're not going to go down that conversation because that's not really what this stream channel is about. But yeah, there's plenty of diversity in regards to the nationality of drivers. It's very much across the world. We have a number of drivers from all corners of the world. So yeah, I don't think you can really have a go in that regard. But ultimately, with F1, when it comes to drivers, I don't care what your ethnicity is. I don't care what your background is. I don't care what your nationality is or your gender. I just want to see the best 20 drivers out on grid. The drivers that deserve to be there. There are drivers that are in and have been throughout time in F1 and are on that grid right now. As Bottas brings out the yellow flag as I'm on my little discussion there. There's a double yellow. Bottas has lost it at Rasgas, it seems. And this is probably going to bring out the red flag if he can get the car moving again. And Bottas has lost control of his car on his first timed lap at Rasgas. And of course, these cars are very large here. Not a lot of room to maneuver. And that has brought out the red flag in this FP3 session. The first crash of this weekend. It's just gone from bad to worse for Bottas. He has seemed to have got the car moving again. I mean, he is right at the pit lane entry there out of turn 18, but you would imagine that there's he might have lost the front wing. We'll see if he can get it. I mean, he's going very slow. Guan Yu Zhou is having to wait for him to do a 6-point turn, I imagine, at this corner. They're able to get past him. They're able to slide past him. So there's enough room there as they go into the pit lane. But yeah, it does look like Bottas is is stuck. Sky TV conveniently is on a TV advert at the moment. So they went to the TV adverts at the worst time. So yes, show us the floor. Somehow I don't think teams are really going to learn a lot from Stake F1's floor. So yeah, Sky TV went to an ad at the worst time. So I don't know exactly what's happened, but normally that is just a simple case of a lockup. And yeah, no room for error at Rasgas turn 18 and would have gone straight on into the barrier. We've seen it before with cars there. Lewis Hamilton looks like he's actually stuck and can't get by Bottas there. Maybe Bottas is still trying to maneuver the car. You can see Hamilton's dot moving a little bit. Oh, God. He's definitely, like, in the way. He's fully in the way. Norris was coming out of the pit lane. So Norris is at the end of the pit lane. This isn't the track map frozen, by the way, guys. This is genuine. Bottas's car is stuck. They do now, Daisy, yeah. Yeah, during practice sessions, they run ads. I couldn't believe it this year. Apparently they did last year as well, but they run ads during practice sessions. And it's still an ad. Like, this is a very long ad while we've got the drivers stuck here at the moment. You can see the time ticking down, 45 minutes now remaining as Norris's dot goes back to the pit lane. So maybe he didn't actually get out of the pit lane and exit there, and they are able to recover and bring him back. But just waiting to see. TV coverage is rejoining now. Looking at it through the swimming pool. Oh, he steps out. Oh, he's actually lost the car. Wow, he's actually broke the front right suspension through turn 17. The rear stepped out as he went through turn 17, and he broke the front right suspension. And that's why he can't maneuver the car. So the car has now been cleared. Session will resume in a few minutes' time. So that is literally 1 minute's time. The session will resume. And yeah, that's why he tried to get the car moving again, but couldn't. Lewis Hamilton, it was such a tight squeeze. I can see why he had to wait. He couldn't get past Valtteri Bottas there. And you can see his brakes are starting to smoke. So yeah, he just had to wait for Bottas's car to be manoeuvred there. But we're back on the way, guys. Thankfully, Bottas is okay, and hopefully the Stake F1 car will be able to get that car repaired. But yeah, front right suspension is not ideal, and that's the first driver we've seen go really over the limit here. We've seen plenty of drivers touch the wall, but Valtteri Bottas, the Stake F1 team, who have been slowest of both timing sheets in FP1 and FP2, are not having a good time at Monaco this weekend. Who watches Rocket Power Mohawk? I've seen a few of his shorts, yeah. How much is getting the tow cables attached to rear Bottas? Charles under huge pressure and quality, always on the edge. Yeah, but he'll improve. But before Bottas crashed, I will just say, ultimately, I just want to see the best drivers on the grid, the drivers that deserve to be there. And unfortunately, throughout the history of F1, we haven't got that. So yeah, that's basically just my the end of my discussion there from earlier on. That's gone a little. Let's move that back to just 2. We don't need to see more than that. But Charles Leclerc is out, guys. For you Leclerc and Verstappen fans, they're both coming out of the pit lane, and we will see them on the soft compound tyre. Only Daniel Ricciardo yet to come out. It looks like he's trudging his way. Looks like it says he's on the hards there. Aston Martins are on a set of mediums, which is interesting. Lewis Hamilton's in the pit lane now, getting back. But we're about to get every car pretty much out on circuit, other than Bottas, who did lose control of the car. So it's going to be a very busy last session with only 40 minutes, just over 40 minutes remaining. I see Danny Rick perform in this race? We'll see. We'll see. He's not... I mean, yesterday wasn't great from him. Yuki was quicker. But we'll see. Of course, a previous winner at this circuit does enjoy it round here. But he's not driving a Red Bull anymore, is he? He's driving an RB. So... Has an active driver ever owned a team? No, not in F1. No. What do I think about Lewis Hamilton pole? I don't think it's going to happen. I think he's... I think he'll do well, but I don't think he'll get pole. There's another yellow flag. Is that Kevin Magnussen? That's Kevin Magnussen. Has he gone deep there through turn 5? I think Kevin Magnussen probably locked up drivers on the limit here in this last practice session. There is a runoff escape down there into turn 5 just before they get into... And Magnussen's going slow. Magnussen is going slow. So has he hit the barrier? Has he hit the barrier at turn 5, been able to keep going? Magnussen going slow. I think he's touched the barrier at turn 5 and not actually gone down the escape road. We'll see. But yes, drivers here in the last practice session on the edge, pushing it to the limit and starting to see mistakes, as Magnussen is definitely going slow. So I think he's broken something, probably a front wing. Let's keep an eye on the TV coverage and see what happens. No mod on F1 happened in the early days quite often. Yeah, probably. There's probably rules against it now as well, where drivers can't be an owner of a team, unlike NASCAR. Just watching it. TV coverage is so far behind. Apologies, guys. Surely we'll see Kevin Magnussen, that yellow flag, come out briefly. If he dives into the pit lane, I mean, he's definitely going slow. If he dives into the pit lane, he's definitely got damage. Oh, no, he's continuing. He's continuing. So maybe it was just a mistake from Magnussen. Now we go. Here we go. TV coverage catching up to that. But Magnussen's back underway, so maybe he just had a lock up there to the escape road. Bit difficult to tell on the TV coverage, but a very busy circuit out there now. The only driver not out on circuit is Valtteri Bottas, who we know has already lost control of the car. As your eyes are not deceiving you, Nico Hülkenberg currently on... it's currently P1. Stop the count. Stop the count. Nico Hülkenberg is P1. What a lap from Leclerc, Patrick. What a lap from Nico Hülkenberg up there in P1. But yeah, Leclerc, his first lap in P2. So very, very busy circuit. Traffic getting involved as well. Piastri goes fastest in the first sector there. Looking good at the moment. Nico Hülkenberg, the quickest, in 2 tenths quicker than anyone in the last sector at the moment. Mega, mega last sector from him. There's another yellow. Lewis Hamilton, has he gone deep at turn 1, or is this Lewis Hamilton in the barrier? This is what happened yesterday with Charles Leclerc, and I think Lewis Hamilton, if he gets moving again, that's just an indication that he's gone deep into turn 1 and has had to take to the escape road to turn round, and I think that's what he's just done as he's got back underway. Whew. Whew. So if the track map, if there's a yellow flag at turn 1, guys, do not fear. We saw this yesterday with Charles Leclerc. It's an indication that he's gone down the escape road at turn 1, Sandavon, and spins the car around and then gets going again. So we had that. Kevin Magnussen did exactly the same thing, locked up down into turn 5, and he didn't go into the barrier. He just spun the car back round and got underway again. So yeah, lots of drivers locking up, taking to the escape roads here, as Piastri does our first sub 13-second lap, 1:12.8. So that's half a second quicker than Russell at the moment, and 1 second quicker than Leclerc. As Hamilton is going a bit slow. Oh no, it's George Russell behind in front of Piastri there. But a bit of a backup, as you can see, with Hamilton, Sargent, Albon, and the Aston Martin Stroll there also. They're kind of tripping over each other's feet as Verstappen's approaching them as well. And indeed, Lewis did go long and lock up into the first corner, which is why he took avoiding action. So the Mercedes car of Lewis is intact, guys. It is intact. Leclerc only did 1 lap. Yeah, it's only practice, guys. It's only practice. Also, we don't know the level of engine mode that they're using. Have they got the power turned up? Some of them were running it a bit lower yesterday. And, of course, the fuel load as well. Are they running more fuel? And just still hiding a little bit of pace come qualifying this afternoon. Has Ham been getting tips from Rosberg about T1? He's practicing for later. But I believe there are new rules in place for this afternoon for qualifying. If someone locks up, don't they lose their lap time? If they bring out the red flag, if they bring out a yellow, I think they lose their lap time, their fastest lap, to ensure that no shenanigans occur that we've seen in the past. Lewis said the tyres are dead after he locked up. So a big lock up for him. So he's only in P8. But they were 6 lap old anyway, so hate everyone equally. Thank you, Lewis. Lewis have been there. McLaren looks really quick. Yeah, the McLaren predicted it. I think they were sandbagging a little bit yesterday. Turned down the engine, maybe a little bit of extra fuel. So yeah, Piastri is a good qualifier. He's a very I don't think he's kind of got the credit he deserves, really. There's an incident with Magnussen and Hulkenberg and Tsunoda impeding there down into turn 9. You off? That? I'll take it. Okay, so no, you didn't need more than that. No. Right, I'll see you soon, yeah? Let me know when you're there. So Piastri going purple in the middle sector as well. First and middle. So Piastri's definitely doing some quali runs. But he's just been held up here at the end by Yuki Tsunoda. So probably not going to set the fastest lap here as he comes through the start-finish line. Let's see. Did he improve there? Oh, he did improve. He did improve. But he didn't get purple in the last sector because he got slightly held up by the RB car of Yuki. But over 100 likes. Thank you very much, guys. 1,300 of you in here for a practice session. 1,300 of you in here for a practice session. Crazy. But yeah, if you can hit that like button, guys, let's see if we can get that counter at the top right-hand side of your screen up to 23,000. Be much appreciated. We're back here this afternoon for qualifying as well. Hoping Piastri wins a race this season. I think he will. I think Norris will win another race this season as well. So, where can you watch the race quali in FP3? Here, Zach. Right here. You don't need to go anywhere else. Thanks, Matt. I am growing. Not outwards, thankfully. Yeah, no, it's been great. These watch-alongs and the community just keeps going in the right direction. As that's more like it, Mr. Leclerc. Fastest of anyone in the first sector, sub 18 seconds. He's got a bit of clean air ahead of him. Only Ocon as he heads through the tunnel of turn 9. Let's see if there's a purple approaching for him. Ocon might hold him up, or is Ocon going to let him go? Ocon does indeed let Leclerc go. So let's see as he goes through turn 12, then the swimming pool section. Oh, slightly slower there in the middle sector, but still second fastest out of anyone in the second sector. So even though that's slower than his fast, even that's slightly slower than his fastest. I'm talking hundreds of a second here, guys. This could be purple for Leclerc. Top of the timing sheets as Piastri has gone deep into turn 1 and needs to spin the car around. Gone down the escape road, and yeah, that's just an indication. He's not in the barrier, guys. He's actually gone down the escape road. So he's just having to spin his car around and find a suitable gap to come back out onto track. We hope. We do hope. Let's see. That yellow flag's staying out for quite a while. They've removed DRS in zone 1. So don't do this, Piastri. Please let this just be that you've spun around and you're struggling to just get the car going again. There we go. There we go. He's all good. He's all good, guys. He's all good. Woo. Woo. Thanks, Bevo. Yeah, quali, as James has just said, qualifying is on at 3 p.m. this afternoon, guys. So I'll be going live half an hour before qualifying starts. So 2:30 UK time. So that is basically around 2.5 hours from now, wherever you are in the world. We'll be going live. And then, yeah, qualifying is on at 3 o'clock or 3 hours from now. So They go to praise Centre Devon's turn 1, yeah. But lots of drivers locking up. It's so difficult. It's so easy to do here. And that's why I believe there is a new rule in place for qualifying later on this afternoon, where if a driver does bring out the yellow flag or a red flag, they do get their lap time deleted. At least I hope so, because otherwise you've got drivers conveniently making lockups and bringing out red flags, yellow flags, so other drivers can't. Like Sergio Perez, we've seen Michael Schumacher in the past, Nico Rosberg. They've all done it. And it's a tactic that I'm not a fan of. But it is close up there. Well, I say it's close. Max Verstappen is half a second pretty much off of Charles Leclerc. He's 4.5 tenths off of Charles Leclerc. Piastri is next closest. I don't think Lando's still really been able to get a clean lapping, guys. So for you Lando fans out there, we might see that now, though, as he's got a bit of a gap between him and Ricciardo up ahead. So we'll keep an eye out on Lando's sector times. He's on slightly older tyres, though. So he might not go to the top of the timing sheets. Verstappen's strategy goes on balance today. Yeah, it's been interesting. I haven't really seen. So I'm just watching Oscar Piastri. Oh, yeah. That was very late kind of avoidance. I thought he was going to crash into the wall there at Saint Devant turn 1. But yeah, it was just a bailout for Oscar Piastri there, and struggled to kind of turn the car around. Wasn't as much a finesse as Kevin Magnussen or Lewis Hamilton did earlier on. But Sainz in the pit lane. Alex Albon up there in P6. So let's have a look. Joe at the bottom, not going well for him. Sergio Perez, interestingly, guys, 17th. Lewis Hamilton in 16th. Do not fear about Lewis Hamilton, guys. He's got to put on a new set of tyres, most likely. Still half an hour left of this practice session. Alonso has only really done long runs, or kind of a mid-long run on the medium compounds. Where is Lando? So he's going green. Let's see. So Lando coming around the last corner in Leclerc's toe, going across the start-finish line, and he goes up into P4. So that's 3 tenths behind Leclerc. Verstappen did also improve last time around and has got that gap down to Charles Leclerc by just 2.5 tenths back. But yeah, Lando there on quite used tyres. Was never really probably going to improve on Leclerc's time. Needs fresh tyres on. But Russell gets moved down to Hulkenberg. So lots of chopping and changing here. We can see that it's quite close. Of course, Monaco is a close circuit. A power advantage is not really essential in regards to engine. I still think some teams have probably got their engines turned down and saving it for qualifying. But it's boding well for an interesting afternoon, that's for sure. Why is Hamilton in the pit? So they're just changing Lewis's setup. Probably just waiting for the session. They've probably only got a certain amount of... Yuki Tsunoda! What? Yuki, stop that. Stop that, Yuki. 5 thousandths of a second behind Leclerc as it stands at the moment. As Charles Leclerc is going faster, purple in the middle sector, and improves and goes to a low 12 second .2. But Yuki, what was that? What was that? Verstappen fastest in the first sector at the moment, only slightly from Charles Leclerc. So let's keep an eye out on Max. Is he going to be able to improve on his lap at the moment? It is still practice. None of this means diddly squat, to be honest with you. Because teams have probably still got engine modes turned down. They're on used tyres. But, big lock up from Norris down into turn 1 earlier on as well. As Albon goes up into P5. So, yeah. The fact Albon's in P5 says a lot really about practice, how much you should read much into it. But the Red Bull, this is an interesting one, guys. So we'll watch Max Verstappen as he comes across the start-finish line through the last sector. But there's an interesting bit of data here as Max goes up to second, still 2 tenths behind Leclerc. And I'm just going to show you the interesting information here that we saw yesterday about the Red Bull and where that time difference is at the moment between the Ferrari of Leclerc and Max Verstappen. And these are the sector times, or the sector leaderboard. And look where Max Verstappen is and Perez in that middle sector, the slower, tighter middle sector, where Leclerc is P2, P1, P1 in the sector times. Verstappen is 9th in the middle sector. He's 3 tenths down on Leclerc's fastest lap, and then he's 6th in the last sector, really losing a lot of time in the slower sectors of turn 2 and turn 2, sector 2 and sector 3. Whereas in the first sector, it's only really the first corner, much faster as you head through the casino corners. So that is where the Red Bull that we saw yesterday getting very twitchy on the rear, not a lot of rear traction, reporting of the car bouncing up and down, and that is where the Red Bull is struggling and losing time to the Ferraris and even the McLarens at the moment, as you saw there. Norris and Piastri not quite quick enough in the first sector, which probably indicates they're just running probably lower engine modes, but they make up a lot of time in the middle sector. So both Ferraris and McLarens look good in the middle sector and the last, but the Red Bulls, on the contrary, struggling in the second sector through the Mirabeau hairpin and down into the chicane, swimming pool section, Rasgas, etc. Imagine when he hooks up sector 2. Yeah, I don't think he's going to, though. I mean, the car looks so on edge, Emily. So on edge. I mean, you watch any onboards. I don't think he can get any more out of that car at the moment. As Leclerc keeps on improving. A 12-0 now for Leclerc. Watching Max Verstappen's replay. And if he pushes any more Max Verstappen, he's in the wall. But he's on the limit already with that Red Bull. Brushing the wall at the moment as he came out of the swimming pool chicane. What's up with Lewis? Lewis is back out on a brand new set of softs. They were just waiting. He had a big lock-up earlier. He just did some kind of longer runs, I think. Or, well, no, he made a mistake, didn't he? But probably had some high fuel. See, look, Max again. Purple in the middle sector, first sector. Second sector is still only 6th fastest. He's improved, but he's slower than Yuki Tsunoda and Kevin Magnussen in that middle sector at the moment. Just cannot hook it up in that Red Bull. And then as he heads through the last sector, let's see where he goes. Improves again, but he's 6th and 5th fastest in the... well, it's just been pushed down by signs now. He's 7th and 5th fastest in the second and last sector, but he's fastest in the first sector, as the purple sector 1 indicates there. So the Red Bull, yeah, just struggling in the lower corners. And Max reporting... I don't know where I can gain time. It's just not possible. So he's on the limit. Max is on the limit. So this is an indication for fans who want a different pole position or for a different grid up front. Max Verstappen, unless he pulls something tremendous out of the bag in qualifying, is on the limit and cannot extract pace out of that car in the middle and last sector. But proof will be in the pudding when it comes to qualifying this afternoon as Sainz moves up to P2. So now the 2 Ferraris at the top of the leaderboard. Interesting pace there for Yuki Tsunoda, by the way. Really, really good from him. He's quite slow in the first sector, but gets it back all in the last sector. But let's keep an eye on Hamilton. Obviously, first lap there, not overly great from him. 8 tenths down on Leclerc. Do expect him to be a lot closer as he gets more temperature into these tyres. First sector carrying Max at the moment. It is, yeah, it is. Max and Cody. You're really not getting your hopes up, Emily, are you? Leclerc had traffic, did he? Interesting. Hamilton nearly went into the wall, did he? Really enjoying these latest races. First time in 3 years we're seeing a more level playing field. Yeah, it's taken a while. A sub 12 second. Leclerc just keeps improving. It is definitely his to lose this afternoon, I think, for pole position, as Hamilton, yeah, really took the chicane really hard there, that curb. Pole section, yeah, just saw that now. Max is going to clash in quali. Potentially. We saw him do it last week, didn't we? Our Red Bull's doing good. Doesn't look like it. They're struggling. Perez is 11th fast. I mean, sorry, Perez fans. This is your sector leaderboard. What is he doing down in the first sector? What are you doing, Perez? 18th. You're slower than Logan Sargent in the first sector. And then he's 11th in Sector 2. And then 8th in Sector 3. But what are you doing in that first sector? What is he doing? But thank you everyone for joining this FP3 stream. 20 minutes remaining. If you're just joining us, well, the big news was that Valtteri Bottas broke his front right suspension coming out of the swimming pool section at turn 17, and then that caused him to go straight into the barrier at turn 18. Caused a bit of a traffic jam there. And then we've got drivers out there obviously doing their laps, setting the car up, getting dialed in for qualifying this afternoon, which is where it all matters, of course, at Monaco. So let's keep an eye on Lewis. Now going, the only car out on circuit at the moment. Let's keep an eye on his sector times here as he heads through the casino section down into turn 5. Very easy to lock up a break here. We've already seen Kevin Magnussen go long into there. Doesn't look like a good first sector for Lewis. No, Lewis just the first sector there was just trudging around a 27.4. So this isn't a fast lap for Lewis. He's obviously doing a cool down lap of some sort. How bad is kick? Yeah, not great. Really not great. And they can't put a pit stop that's quicker than 8 seconds together either, can they? Fortunately. But what's the new quali rule? I think the quali rule, and I will double check this for quali this afternoon. I'll go do a bit of research. I believe the rule has changed, but if you bring out a yellow flag or a red flag, you are, like, the fastest lap you've set in that session is removed. So you can't set the fastest lap in Q3 as an example, crash, and then stop everyone from having an opportunity of getting pole position. I think that rule has changed now, because in times past we've seen drivers strategically, I think, really lock up, bring out the yellow flag, stop people from their stop people from getting pole position because they've already done their first run. And yeah, I mean, Perez arguably did that, didn't he? Did he get pole? Or he was second, wasn't he? He was at least ahead of Max, wasn't he? When he spun the car out of turn 8. But I think that's now the case, which is a lot fairer. A lot fairer. So a red, not yellow. It should be a red. It should be a yellow as well, because you can lock up. You can strategically lock up. So the AI transcription thing, I just removed. It wasn't really that accurate, to be honest with you. And I didn't have enough space, so with what we've got on screen. But yeah, well, we've got just under 19 minutes, just over 19 minutes remaining of this session, guys. If you could hit the subscribe button if you haven't already. Let's get that 22,000 number up to 23,000. Let's get that rolling over. And if you can hit the like button as well, 200 likes for this FP3 at Monaco. Thank you very much. Let's see if we can get that. Let's see if we can double that. Can we get that to 500? It really does help with the engagement and continue to grow this great community we've got here. As George Russell's going nicely. Purple in the first sector. And he's a bit slow in the second, though. Bit slow in the second. Let's see how he does in the last sector. He was 11th in the second sector, so that's probably indicates a mistake there for him as he comes across the start-finish line now. And he jumps to second. So, yes, 2 tenths down. George Russell on Charles Leclerc's time in Sector 2. That would have been pole position or P1 for Russell if he was as fast as Charles Leclerc in that middle sector. As Alonso's just gone fastest in the middle sector. So this is brand new tyres though, guys. Charles Leclerc set his fastest lap on used tyres. So Charles still has plenty of pace in hand as he's out on brand new softs now. So I do expect this order to change up a bit. But interestingly, Lewis is in the top 5 for Sector 2 and Sector 4. But a little bit outside that in Sector 1 at the moment. So Lewis still yet to kind of hook up a proper lap. Hence why he's down in P6. But Alonso heads up into P2. Could we see... he was sneakily quick yesterday, wasn't he, in FP2. Could we see Alonso, a two-time winner here back in the 2000s, could we see him pull out something in that Aston Martin after a poor showing at Imola last time around? Merc seems to be quick in Monaco. Yeah, it does. They seem to be much better. Of course, it is a unique circuit, so where you can be Frau in other GP circuits, more traditional ones, come to Monaco and you can, yeah, it's more about the downforce and not necessarily the outright power advantage that you have over others. I think Max set his car to be slower in first sector, but faster in second. Yes, I reportedly, Tack, Max was saying last night that he doesn't think there's anything in the setup that they can do to dial out the issues they've got. The car seems to be bouncing quite a bit, and he said it's a feature at this circuit in particular that the RB20 just has, and that's where he's losing all the time. Because of that, the rear is getting twitchy through the slower Sector 2 and Sector 3, and he just can't extract any more time out of the car, as he's reporting himself. So we'll still see, though, when it comes to qualifying in this afternoon. Proof will be in the pudding then. Looks like Max is getting his lap time interrupted here by Lance Stroll into the chicane, so don't expect him to improve too much. This will be amazing qualifying. Yeah, hopefully. It's definitely the one race of the year. Perez only goes 10th. Perez is struggling big time. As Sainz goes fastest in the last sector, only 2 thousandths of a second behind his teammate Charles Leclerc. Charles didn't have Charles bowed out of his last lap, which is why he's slow. He was slow through the second sector. So, oh wow, an 18.6 from Charles Leclerc there in the first sector, purple. Let's keep an eye out on Charles. He's on a brand new, fresh set of softs. This is going to lay down a marker, guys. Keep an eye out on this. Goes through turn 8. It'll be out of the swimming pool section through turn 14, where he will see sector 2 time pop up. That currently belongs to Alonso at the moment, the fastest sector 2 time. A Sargent's gone. Oh my God, Perez. Just hang your head in shame. Logan Sargent is quicker than you. He's quicker than you. Yes, jumps to fastest, 3 tenths faster than anyone in the second sector at the moment, Charles Leclerc. This is going to be an 11. This is going to be in a low 11 second. This is going to raise eyebrows, guys. This is going to raise eyebrows up and down the paddock. An 11.3. Oh, he's improved, but the fastest last sector, that honour still belongs to Carlos Sainz with his lap time last time around, but 6 tenths faster than Sainz. It's still only practice. I'm dialing it back a bit. But that's impressive. Max is saying and doing this to keep people interested. I think he'd still much... It just sounds like he's not having that much fun out there. But wow, that was a great lap there from Charles Leclerc. Of course, it'll be closer come qualifying this afternoon. But that's definitely a marker laid down by Charles Leclerc going, I'm the captain now. This is my town. I'm the man to beat. So, yeah, looking good. You'll root for Leclerc this time. He earns a win in Monaco, yeah. You wonder if Max 2016 will appear. But at the moment, so we have just over 10 minutes remaining, guys. 13 and a half minutes remaining. And yeah, at the moment, Charles Leclerc, fastest there of anyone as drivers are getting out there to do their quali runs in P1. Sainz 6 tenths back in P2. Alonso P3. Verstappen in P4. Also, to take in consideration here, guys, I am not aware. I've been trying to keep up to date with obviously what everyone's been doing. But some drivers, of course, have had lap times impeded by other drivers. It's a very busy circuit out there. So some drivers, only a few drivers have had proper clean laps. Lewis Hamilton did have a lap, but it didn't look like he was overly pushing too much. As Yuki's just gone, Yuki's flying, by the way. Keep an eye on Yuki, currently P10. He's just jumped to the top 3 in Sector 2. He's very slow in the first sector, that RB car. It is very slow. But the Sector 2 and Sector 3 is very quick. Let's keep an eye out on Tsunoda as he crosses the start-finish line. He's going to jump up. Oh, no, he didn't. What? Oh, he had a slow last sector. He made a mistake in the last sector. That was going to be an impressive lap there from Tsunoda. but Max's lap was impeded by Lance Stroll earlier. So Max looks like he's on a flying lap now, so let's keep an eye on him. Piastri improves with a 1:12.1. McLarens have still got their engine turned down. Do not fear McLarens. Do not fear McLaren fans. So is Verstappen going to get his lap time interrupted here? He's going very quick. He's slower though in the first sector than Leclerc. Only just. Seems to have made his way around the traffic quite comfortably there. So let's keep an eye on Max. Where is this lap time for him in the middle sector as he heads down into the chicane, out of the tunnel, over that crest, into that very tight chicane. One of the very few overtaking opportunities at Monaco. Still don't expect to see much tomorrow at all. Going to be done on strategy. There we go, Lewis. That's a bit better. A 1:12.0, but still 6.5 tenths off of Charles Leclerc. Max does improve in the middle sector, 34.0, but that's still 9th fastest. He's slower than Magnussen, Stroll, and Tsunoda and Alonso in the middle sector. And then the last sector, I'm saying it now. Max will be lucky to get top 5. Max will be lucky to get top 5 in qualifying. That's a bold call. That is a bold call. But I think the top 4 is going to be the 2 Ferraris and the 2 McLarens. And I think Max will be lucky to get 5th place. The way it's going at the moment. He doesn't look good in those 2. I'm just looking at the data. I'm just looking at the timing screens. And the Red Bulls look shit in the last 2 sectors. The first sector is great. He's on par with Leclerc. But that's because he only has to deal with like one corner. But the remainder of the circuit, that Red Bull looks tough to handle. You can clip that. Because I'm either going to eat my words or I'm going to end up being going, I'm a genius. This is why you come to this watch-along, for these great takes. I wouldn't bet on it, no. Although I might check the odds, actually. See what the odds are for him to finish outside the top 5. It'd be interesting. So, repeat, RB are sandbagging. You think? I don't think they are. I just don't think they are. Look, even drivers who are, I mean, you can turn your engine mode down, and yes, there's still a little bit of pace in there, but if they turn their engine, like, you can turn your engine mode up, you're not going to make up that much time. Like, it's not going to have that much of an advantage at another circuit. So the issue they've got is not engine power. The issue they've got is that the car isn't stable, isn't balanced through the slower sections of this racetrack. So, hang on. Just listening to Ted Kravitz. Talking about? Oh, Carlos Sainz, I think it was. Carlos Sainz. Not happy with the front wing angle. Alan Hindman, thank you for becoming a part of the pit crew. Thank you very much, buddy. And anyone else wants to as well, you can hit that join button. If not, please hit the subscribe button. Let's get that number ticking over closely, ever more to 23,000. Hit the subscribe button. Nearly 1,700 of you in here, over 10,000 views. Hit that like button. Let's get this stream to over. Can we get 1,000 likes? I know it's a tall order. Hit that thumbs up, please, guys. It really helps. I know you may get frustrated with me saying it, but if I don't ask, sometimes you guys forget. So, and it really does help push this channel and continue it growing. So, yeah, big thank you. You better clip that. I know you would, AJ. I know you would. But yeah, welcome, Alan. Thank you, buddy. We're running lower engine power through all the practice, not compromise the data you get for setup. It can do. Yeah, it can do. Yuki, my boy. I've been converted by Yuki, you know. As I said, I was a big critic. Now I'm fully on the Yuki train. Fully on the Yuki train. it's mad because that RB is so poor in the first sector, and it just gains it all in the second and the last sector. Like, that's the difference. I bet Verstappen would prefer to be much slower in the first sector now than he would be in the second and last sector. That's for sure. He'd much rather have the fortune of the RB car than his own at the moment. The best missed Apex guest. I am actually being promoted this weekend, Alan. I'm actually hosting the Missed Apex podcast this weekend, as Spanners is missing the podcast in protest of the Monaco Grand Prix. So yeah, I'm actually been promoted and I'll be hosting for the first time ever this weekend. So yeah, I'm looking forward to that tomorrow. Max is 7th, Arkit. Yes, he is. Your eyes are not deceiving you. But in comparison, Yuki, of course, the big battle for him is not necessarily with other teams, it's his teammates. And he's absolutely trouncing Danny Ricciardo at the moment, who has won here, a former winner, of course, at Monaco, always gone very well. Remember that unfortunate pit stop that he had where the tyres weren't ready. He could be a double winner here at Monaco, but only the single win for him in 18th position. So not looking good for him, but in comparison, Yuki, loving it here. Loving it here. Sub 12 second there is great going from him. But it's such a mixed up grid as it stands. As Verstappen now goes P2. But it's still 6 tenths off. What was that in regards to sector times? He still hasn't improved. He's so slow in the second sector. I cannot emphasize how slow the Red Bull is in the second sector right now. I'm just going to bring this across to your screen once again. Your eyes are not deceiving you. He's 11th fastest in the second sector. 11th fastest. He's slower than Stroll, Alonso, Magnussen, Tsunoda, Gasly, of all fucking people. Excuse my language, but this is bizarre. Absolutely bizarre. By the way, how about Gasly? Second fastest in the second sector, 18th fastest in the last sector. Unbelievable. Yeah, he's just off the pace of that Ferrari. Definitely. And other cars as well. Stuff is the best way. Oh, stop it, Carl. Stop it. Keep them coming. I can take compliments. Yeah, Yuki does go back Andrew, but that's because the car is like slower than the likes of the Ferrari, the McLaren, the Mercedes, the Red Bull. So it's understandable that he goes back. But he's doing what he needs to do, picking up the solitary points, showing that he's got that talent and showing he's got the chops to make himself more attractive to a top team when a seat becomes available. Obviously, at the moment, there isn't. Fastest in the first sector for Max Verstappen. So let's keep an eye on him again. Is he going to improve in that second sector? Is he going to improve? Here we go, Verstappen. So he's coming through turn 9. Second sector is quite long. It's only when they get out of the chicane here and entering the swimming pool section that we get that sector 2 time come up. But he's currently 12th fastest, but he keeps getting pushed down. But it looks like he's on a good one at the moment. He's obviously on used tyres. That's better from Verstappen, but only pushes him up to 8th fastest in the second sector. How about the last sector? Currently 8th as well. Comes through Rasgas, turn 18, then turn 19. Very close to the wall and exit there as they do. Cross the start-finish line, and he improves again. Much better. Much, much better. P3 from him there. And brings him just under 2 tenths behind Charles Leclerc. So better, much better, but that sector 2 is costing him. And you do, I'm just thinking, like, with how close qualifying has been, I think next, I mean, that Hamilton's just gone P3 with 14 lap old tyres. I just think come qualifying, it's going to be the small margins, and he's losing too much time in that middle sector. Hello, gamer. Of course, I can say hello to you. But I want to see him in the Red Bull, but unfortunately, that won't happen whilst he remains a Honda boy. Yeah, I think he might end up a Haas. I'd be ashamed to see him off the grid. Be ashamed to see Carlos Sainz off the grid as well. Rumours obviously about that. So just 2.5 minutes left of this FP3, guys. 1,800 of you here in the stream. If you could hit that like button before we end this practice session, it'd be great. Currently, Leclerc in P1 looks like the man to beat in this qualifying session this afternoon. I know I keep saying it, but the most important qualifying session of the year. So much emphasis on it. Of course, with the size of these cars, overtaking nigh on impossible. The race will be won on strategy. And if you're on pole position, then, well, you're definitely the cliche. You're in pole position for the win, you know. But yeah, please hit the like button. Increases the engagement of this stream and channel. The YouTube algorithm likes. And yeah, subscribing helps grow a great community that we've got here. Worried for Ricciardo's future now. We'll see come qualifying. I still take practice with a pinch of salt. While this practice session has been important, while practice has been kind of important and we can put emphasis on it, a bit more emphasis on it than maybe others because of like quali runs and so forth. They're still holding a bit back. We know drivers are still holding a bit back when it comes to not wanting to bin the car and yeah, wanting to making sure they've got an actual car for qualifying. So. What happened to Bottas? Yes, if you're just joining us, guys, Bottas basically hit the barrier out of the swimming pool section of turn 15 and to a fart noise and dedicated to your brother. In a second. I'm not at your whims, Alan. Ferrari could fumble with the strategies. Yes. I've lost my train of thought. Drivers obviously still want to have a car. They don't want to push too hard and bin it. Unlike Bottas, who lost it out of turn 17 and lost it into Rasgas. So, yeah, not a good weekend thus far for the Stake F1 cars. Yeah, Verstappen talking. If I do more laps like this, I'll end up in the fucking fence. So Max is pushing. Just keeps pushing and pushing and pushing. But he's on the limit, massively on the limit. Very, very quick through the first sector. As we have checkered flag now, and that is your FP3 underway. There you go. End of FP3, and well, Leclerc is the fastest driver again, topping the timing sheets with an 11.3. Verstappen struggling a lot in the middle sector, dragged his car to P2, but he is definitely on the limit as he's reporting. Hamilton P3, Piastri P4, we have Russell P5, Sainz 6th, Norris 7th, Tsunoda, and we have Verstappen driving unnecessarily slowly, being investigated incidents there at the top or at the bottom there. So we'll see what comes of that. But Tsunoda P8 going well, Alonso 9th, Gasly 10th, Albon 11th, Hulkenberg and Magnussen in 12th and 13th. Perez, what is Perez doing? A second off the pace. He's really, really struggling. P15 for Stroll, Ocon 16th, Sargent 17th, Ricciardo. Hopefully, as I say that, Perez does a lap and brings himself up to P5 to slightly redeem himself, half a second off of Leclerc. Ricciardo 18th, we hope that he's got a bit of pace in qualifying. And then Joe in 19th, and Bottas, we already know, has crashed out. So once again, the Stake F1 cars at the bottom of the timing sheets. They might as well not even turn up tomorrow, to be perfectly honest with you. What happens if you wreck the car in quali or practice? Where does the race car come from? They have to repair it. If they can't repair it, they don't get to race. Simple as. I sound like Betcham from Kitchen. What? Who's that? Piastri Future Superstar, yeah. Rain, I'm not sure if rain is forecast for tomorrow. I'm not sure if it's forecast for this afternoon. It is sunny at the moment. Looks blue skies, but Monaco being on the coast and the hills, we've seen it before. The increment weather can come in very quickly over those mountains. So, yeah, we'll see. But only, what's the time now? past. Only 2 hours until we go live for qualifying. So, yeah, qualifying 2.5 hours from now. It will start at 3 o'clock UK time. And so, yeah, we'll go live shortly before to have a catch-up and let everyone roll into the stream. So, Oscar's second season, Sophia. He did last season. Impressive from Max with that car. Yeah, it's definitely like good car control. Like, it's impressive. I just think that the margins are going to be like Imola. I think we're going to see very, very tight margins at the top. I think we're going to be talking hundredths of a second for like the difference between like the top 4, top 3 again. And Max at the moment is losing so much time in the middle sector. And I just think that's going to be the big difference for him in qualifying this afternoon. Incident involving car number 1, Max Verstappen, will be investigated after the session, driving unnecessarily slowly. Just watching replay now. No, not that incident. So we will see. We'll see what happens. But he went very, very slowly for the last corner when there was a few drivers. We'll see if that's penalised. I don't know if it will be penalised, to be honest with you. But they're going to investigate it after the session. But yeah, drivers have done their practice starts for the race, which is, of course, tomorrow. But yeah, Charles Leclerc, definitely the man to beat for this afternoon. Was in the tunnel, Tsunoda. Oh, was that the Tsunoda incident, was it? Oh, if that's the Tsunoda one, I didn't realise that was Max. Yeah, he could end up with a penalty for that. He could end up with a penalty. So Perez reporting the car is nowhere, has a lot of work to do. So Red Bull struggling, Red Bull struggling. Could be biased by Australian, but he is driving exceptionally well. Piastri, yeah, he is. Yeah. I think he's going to be up there. My prediction still stands. My bold claim. I still think top 3 guys are going to be Leclerc, Piastri, Norris. I think the McLaren still have plenty in the tank. And I think Sainz potentially could be P4. Maybe we might get someone else up there. I think Max will be P5. Bold claim. Bold claim. Did I say outside the top 5? I said outside the top 5 earlier, didn't I? Was that the clip? Was it outside? If it's outside the top 5, I'll say he'll be outside the top 5. I'll stick by that. I can't remember. Thank you for all the subs coming in, guys. Thank you, thank you, thank you. If you can hit the like button as well. You had Verstappen 5th in the clip. I said out the 5, did I? Okay. I think it could happen. I think the top 5 are going to be separated by like a 10th. Honestly, it's going to be that close this afternoon. I'm really excited for qualifying. I think it's going to be even close. I think it'll be just as close, maybe even closer than it was in Imola. But Charles Leclerc looks on it. So, double yellow in Sector 7. What's that? Why are they throwing a double yellow there? Everyone's in the pits. Is that because there was a bit of debris or something? That's odd. That's odd. What do I think about Hamilton? Yeah, looks comfortable. I think come qualifying though, I think the Mercedes will slot into its normal position of like the 4th fastest car, unfortunately, for us Lewis fans and Mercedes fans. But we'll see. We'll see. Monaco qualifying can really throw up some surprises. I still think someone is gonna bin it in qualifying hard. So yeah, we'll see. We've seen drivers really pushing on the limit. So, yeah, that's the nature of Monaco. What would the penalty be? Probably like a free place grid penalty, like we saw with Oscar Piastri impeding in qualifying last time around. In Imola, he got a free place grid penalty. It would most likely be the same with Verstappen, which would be harsh for him. I say harsh. It wouldn't be a harsh penalty because it'd be a deserved penalty. Like going slow in the tunnel. It's a very, very dangerous place. We saw the Isaac Hadjar very, very near miss with Matoma. It end up being a very bad crash in there. And yeah, if he gets a free place grid penalty, well, that's going to hurt him. Oh, so bad at Monaco. So, but we'll see. We'll see. They'll announce it that it's been investigated after the session. So, which is now. No, it's not qualifying, Andy, but they can issue penalties throughout practice that have implemented for the grid on Sunday. So, yeah, you don't just get like a warning. If you do something bad, then a post-session penalty will be implemented for the grid on Sunday. So, but yeah, guys, that is the end of this FP3. Thank you for everyone for tuning in. Over 1,000 viewers still in here, still listening to me waffle. Hey, Christian. Hey, Roo. But yeah, I think we're in for a very intriguing qualifying this afternoon. Leclerc looks on it. Piastri, I think the McLarens have still got a lot in hand. Norris had his lap times kind of interrupted. We'll see if they're able to improve. I would definitely say Piastri has the upper hand on Norris, which is why I think he'll be ahead of him in qualifying. Perez reporting he's struggling with the car. George Russell seems to have sorted out the issues that he had yesterday with the steering. And I think Yuki's going to be the surprise in qualifying, you know. Seems to be really on it. And maybe even... No, Alonso looks slow in the seconds, the last sectors. I think we're going to get a shock. I think we'll have a shock with someone getting up where they don't normally belong. That's the nature of Monaco. But yeah, not long to find out, guys. Not long to find out. Oh, welcome back, Korea. Yeah, it's always good to see people from all across the world tuning into these watch-alongs and just enjoying the love of F1. Get to enjoy it together. Thanks, Anthony. Quite on at the same time as the Cup final. I know, John. I know. Well, look, we know. Sorry if you're a Man United fan, but I think we know who's going to win that. I mean, you conceded 12 within 12 seconds the last final you had with Man City. Thanks, Gamer. But yeah, no, thank you. Thank you very much, everyone. I'm now going to go get some well-needed rests and have some lunch, top up. And yeah, if you could hit the like button as you are on your way out, it'd be much appreciated. Did I fix my sim rig, Carl? Kinda. Topic for another day. But we'll be back in just under 2 hours' time. The qualifying stream is up and ready for you to head into. I'm going to run a poll in there of who you think will be on pole position. I know kind of who most people will probably say, but you can let me know regardless. But head on over there, turn your notifications on as well. You'll get alerted half an hour before the live stream goes live. And yeah, we'll be live half an hour before the race, before the session starts. Maybe just watch United see score. Yeah. But yeah, no, everyone, have a lovely afternoon. Next couple of hours, and I will see you at 2:30. See you then. Thank you, guys. Bye.